Good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to one and all present here. Myself, Tejasri, Assistant Professor, Department of Information Technology, Dr.M.G.R, Educational and Research Institute. So let's start this session with a quote by Albert Einstein. Wisdom is not a product of schooling, but of the lifelong attempt to acquire it. With that in the mind, we, the Department of IT, initiates this Alumni Series 3 on Oracle, Cloud, Autonomous Database, and Journey to Rapid Application Development, which is the good forum for our students and alumni interaction. To start today's session, may I request Dr. Dalia ma'am to give the welcome address. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Tejasri. Good afternoon, one and all. I'm happy to welcome everyone for this alumni series today. I want to express my profound gratitude to our founder chancellor, A.C. Shanmugam sir, and our president, A.C.S. Arun Kumar sir, for their guidance and constant support in organizing such events. I would also like to thank our head of the department, Dr.N.Kanya, for our continuous motivation in all such activities. I would like to welcome our guest speaker of the day, Mr. Ramanan Singh. He's a proud alumni of our department. He's the sales engineer management of Turnkey Systems Private Limited. He'll be sharing on Oracle Cloud, Autonomous DB, and Journey to Rapid Application Development today. We are looking forward to that, to hearing from you, sir. All the students are eager to hear about that. I would also like to welcome and thank our event coordinator Dr.Nalaini ma'am, for putting in all her efforts to make this event a successful one. Once again, I also thank our fellow faculty members for their all continuous support for each other in organizing any event. Once again, I welcome all the students who are here to learn something new. Welcome, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. I request Dr. V.N. Rajavarman sir, Additional Dean of Computer Science, to give felicitation address. Over to you, sir.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Good. So, good afternoon to everybody. Quality of our young President A.C.S. Arun Kumar sir for conducting such this event by Department of Information Technology. And also I thank to the department head, Dr. Kanya and Dr. Dalia ma'am and Dr. Nalini ma'am and all the faculty members and the registry also. I appreciate, I very much proud for initiating this very good program event today on this crucial moment during the COVID-19 time. So I'm very happy. I thank again to all, particularly is our chief guest, very special guest. I'm indeed to proud and appreciate. He is one of our alumni, Ramanan Singh. I welcome, I thank for giving acceptance and coming and give and share your knowledge about the cloud, right? So, on behalf of our management, on behalf of Dr.M.G.R Educational Research Institute and myself and the department people, I welcome you. Once again, I'm telling you, I welcome, I proud about you and all the participants. My beloved students, first year and second year and third year, all participants, I thank for coming and joining. I think I hope 100% you will get new knowledge, things, innovative things in cloud and other applications. I think you will get sure you will be a very good I think a new person after this finishing this event by Ramanan Singh sir. So please cooperate and get all things and get and take all notes and use really in some efficient way for this. So this is my suggestion. Once again, I appreciate and wish all of you for coming and joining this event. In also, I uh, appreciate this event in a grand manner. And lastly, I pray the Almighty will get a good health and good features in your health and in your life. Thank you, Ananda.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful inaugural address. Now I request Dr. Nalini ma'am to give introduction about a knowledgeable speaker, Mr. Raman Singh sir. Over to you, ma'am.
Nalini ma'am, are you there?
Now I request Dr. T. Nalini ma'am to give introduction about our speaker, Mr. Raman Singh sir. Ma'am, Nalini ma'am.
Yes, so I'm sorry, network problem. Good afternoon and welcome to Alumni Series 3 of the Dr.M.G.R Education and Research Institute. I am Dr. Nalini, professor of this university, having great pleasure to welcome one and all present here. The Alumni Speaker Series will add value to our students' academic studies by providing the real world learning as shared by our successful alumni. This also assists in identifying interdisciplinary skill gained from the classroom that are utilized and applied in their fields of study, inspiring and empowering them as they move through their university studies. The series also seeks to strengthen relationship between the current students, alumni, and the faculty to share their work and wisdom while encouraging the student to think creatively about their upcoming transaction into the professional world. By sharing the stories of personal and professional experience, the alumni lectures provides valuable business and professional development tips in a unique peer-to-peer environment. Today, our chief guest of our dynamic alumni student, Mr. Ramanan Singh, studied in our institution at 2016 to 2010 batch. Currently, he is working as a sales engineer manager in Turnkey System, Sydney, Australia. He is having 11 years experience with AWS Certified Solution Architect Software Professional and also working in the tech and consulting industries. He sees the importance of having the right technology tools to make any business grow. He is proudly saying that his education and experience have provided the opportunity to work on numerous complex problems with innovative thinking and collaborative skills are vital. He is working on multiple RAD, ECMS, ERP, CRM, and HCM project and support his teams and clients by providing them with access to the best suited tools so that ultimately they can scale organically and achieve greater impact. His focus is always on delivering solutions that meet customer requirements. I'm sure this afternoon is going to very informative section is going to present topic about Alumni Series 3, Oracle Cloud, Autonomous DB, and Journey to Rabbit application development. On behalf of the Department of Information Technology and the organization team, I welcome you, sir. Thank you very much.
Be shared towards the end of the session. It will be provided only in the YouTube chat box and will be active for 20 minutes. It is the participant's responsibility to stay connected till the end using laptop or mobile and make sure the chat box is visible. It will not be shared in the Telegram group or by mail. E-certificates will be provided only for active participants based on attendance and feedback submission. Post your queries in the chat box. It will be answered towards the Q&A session. Please avoid unnecessary discussion in the chat box. So thanks in advance for your understanding. Now it's time for today's session to begin. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, and thank you everybody for organizing this. Hey guys, um, first of all, I understand it must be really challenging for you attending sessions like this and meeting the alumni or even seniors like this. It must be really challenging. For us, it was not like this. Frankly, it was whenever we used to wanted to interact with anybody, we everybody was accessible. Frankly, even the faculty members were really kind and always accessible. And so I do realize that it's really challenging time, and this time shall will pass, and hope you guys come and visit the university and attend the classrooms sessions. So I think there's nothing in comparison to that. This is supplementary stuff, but okay, hopefully you guys do visit as soon as possible. uh, I'll start the session. Before that, I'll give a thank you for the introduction, ma'am, and I'll also tell a little bit about myself. Right now, I'm working as sales engineering manager at 10K Systems here in Sydney. I have been here for almost 2 years now. Prior to that, I was in Bangalore at Oracle Corporation, and before that, I was in Chennai working there at Aon Hewitt and Gindi. And so, yeah, that's my history. I'm a certified solutions architect at AWS, but I have chosen Oracle for this session because I wanted, uh, first of all, Oracle is always free tier. So I understood that most of you are in either first year, second year, even third year. So if I would have given this session AWS after 1 year, it would have asked you to move to a paid version, which I didn't want. It's a learning activity, and I think it's better to learn at Oracle Cloud. All clouds essentially are same. Frankly, everything is same. The regions change a little bit, but the essence is same. The data hubs, the data centers, the availability zones, so they're all same. The regions which they choose, the government industry which these companies target, be it Amazon or Google or Microsoft or Oracle, all these companies target the same audience, right? So yeah, I chose Oracle because I knew it's going to be beneficial for you. The application development and the autonomous DB aspects, which I'll touch, you'll see that is all free. So you just sign up there, and you can just continue working on and start deploying applications. So that's why I chose Oracle. So first of all, I'll share my screen so that you can see. Can you see my screen, guys?
Yes, it's visible.
So as soon as you sign up, can you see the Oracle Cloud screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. So as soon as you sign up, they'll ask you to enter your credit card information and your basic details. So do that. They'll charge some $1 initially, but they'll refund it back. It's just for verification purposes. And if you want to get some paid services, that's why they'll ask you to enter your credit card. But I think that's perfectly safe. And you choose always tier feature, which I'll show you right now. So wherever you'll see always free eligible. So I would recommend that you use these features. So initially what Oracle will give you around $400. This is Australian dollars, but in US, I think they'll give you around $300 in that terms. So I think that's more than enough for learning activities. So in after your time has elapsed, the 30 days trial is over, you will be moved to the free tier uh, format, so which is also free. You don't have to pay anything, but I'll show if you don't want to pay even a single rupees, just you have to go to your uh, billing structure and just add $1 or even $0. So if you don't want to pay even 1 cent, so that's another activity. But this is the essence. So the application is quite, it's like a very simple dashboards. It would have been a better if it would have been a two-way interaction. I would have been able to answer your questions, but uh, feel free to post your questions in the chat. We can touch those later. So uh, I'll tell you why I moved to cloud. Initially, when I was at my first company, we were having on-premise solutions. That means servers were deployed in the company data centers. When cloud started becoming popular, the companies more and more started moving to cloud because getting new infrastructure, the Solaris box, the Windows box, it was really expensive, right? And they have a fixed time. Maybe after 5 years, they have to renew it. And if the even after 1 year, if they don't have the utility of that and they're not using it enough, the hardware is still lying with them. So it was a little bit expensive interaction. So that's why cloud started becoming more popular, because it's like use, how much you use, you pay just for that, pay as you go. That's the model which these companies follow. So that's why this become, so as soon as you're developing something and you deploy any application, so you pay only for that. For example, I'll show you. So this is the budget which I mentioned. If you don't want to pay 1 cent also, just create a budget and enter the value in the target amount, and that's the amount which will be required for you to pay, and the cost analysis and everything. So this is the report. It showed you how much you're paying every day. So I'm paying almost $4.25 a day. If I don't want to pay this also, that's okay. But so that's how it's done. And so now if you want to bring up a server, so right, in this case you just have to create a new instance and give yourself a root access and which type of image you want, what is the server structure. As I mentioned earlier, you have to have this free eligible so that you don't incur additional costs, and add a security key associated with that, and just create. And after that, you will the cloud services provider will start provisioning a new system for you. You can choose the region which they want. So another good thing with Oracle is whichever region you want in the world, the costs remain the same. In contrary, AWS has cost to region specific. For example, if you want your customers are in Singapore. So Singapore will have a different region and different payment structure, and Australia is different, and US it's different. So see how fast it is. It's the instance is up, it's running. So that's why I like I like cloud. computing. So similarly, autonomous DBs are there. So how autonomous DB is different from uh, I have a presentation. It's good that we proceed in a structured way. So can you see this PPT slide, or was it just the browser? Can you see the presentation, ma'am?
No, can you share it? Can you put it again? We can see the browser right now.
Okay, one second. I have to reshare, I think. Can you see the presentation now?
Yes.
Perfect. Yep. So first of all, I have taken this slide from Oracle only, and I wanted the structure to remain how they intended to be. And the difference, as I mentioned, my when I joined Oracle, I was working for Siebel core team and Siebel CRM. So we had like hundreds and thousands of clients, but all of them were on premise. So on premise has its own benefits and and some issues as well. So the cost is the primary issue, and as well as if the your target audience is in some other region, so obviously that there's a latency there, and people, yeah, for example, if you're using Netflix, okay, and the server is in maybe South Africa, and you're trying to access it from, say, Delhi. So the data has to transfer from South Africa to Delhi, and so you'll see the buffering icon. So nobody wants that. So that's why on premise is not a good solution when your audience is global. So you have to incur that, you have to deploy different servers all over the world, so it's like another cost, and then for that you have to have different administrators to monitor those servers. So these are the real things which I have seen actually when I was working with these customers, right? European customers had their own issues, and when they were interacting with the clients in Malaysia, you say, so it's like, so that's why cloud started becoming popular in 2010 plus from there. So it's fast, it's versatile, and control is, as you I've shown you the dashboard. It's, you can control it from your mobile also. So it's so easy. The optimization is there, and the services which these companies offer now, it's lightning fast, right? And they have also started offering managed services that you don't have to be even some of the additional tasks which initially the companies were taking care of. These are also now being transferred back to the service providers. So it's like do less stuff, but they will take care of most of the things. So another thing, like you can divide it into services, compute services, and the storage, and the department, and the DBs, the network, everything is distributed among, either Oracle will take care of it, or you as a company can take care of it. That's why it's IAS and then PAS, and then if you don't want to take care of anything, you just want to use the entire structure as a service, then even SaaS companies are becoming now into it's gaining quite popularity now. So that's another thing. Availability and the region specific things, so it's quite popular now. So Oracle currently have, and I think I have seen them grow quite exponentially. Initially, 5-6 years back, they had only six regions, right? And most of them were in North America. But now you see there are two commercial regions in India itself. Two of them are in Sydney and Melbourne, and you'll see in Asia they have started focusing predominantly towards Asia Pacific and uh, Africa and Europe. So it's quite they're gaining quite popularity, and they continue bringing new and new regions. So high performance and the cost when it comes to storage and the compute cost, I think that's quite low at Oracle when you compare it with the other providers, the low latency, high bandwidth network, and up to 97% of lower cost connectivity. So these are the aspects which make Oracle Cloud quite unique. and it's super fast, predictable compute database, and up to 98% lower cost storage. So how they calculate the storage, it's not just with that, there is ingress and egress as well. So the data which you're putting there and then extracting back, so that also has it's that's the stuff is costly, right? So all that is also quite cheaper. So this is the classic example of how a particular data center interacts with the end customer. So you have a region, then you create a virtual cloud network, and you have availability zones. Availability zones, you must deploy in different availability zones, so that even there is flood in one particular availability zone, you have other availability zones. So similarly, if there is even bigger disaster happens, so you must deploy in different regions as well. So if you want your data to be secure and safe. I'll give you another real-time example. In this case, I was working with few clients where with few government clients actually, where they wanted the data to be secure, as well as they wanted, in case of any natural disaster, that the data should be secured and safe. So they had a strict requirement that one region should be US West Coast specific, another one should be East Coast. So even in case there is a serious issue happening in somewhere in the East Coast, the data should still be safe. So this is one example of how companies require, even they are mandated for having a different region specific structure. So another, how you'll see a basic standard core, and then as soon as you start doing bare metal deployment, and then how you proceed, that performance and the compute storage and everything increases. So it's quite interesting. So again, stick to your free tier while you're doing the experimentation and all the testing. But as soon as you want to deploy for the big applications, just deploy it for the time being you're doing the testing. And as soon as that's done, I would recommend that you just stop the servers, or even if you don't want to secure your data, then just you can terminate the systems. So that, in that case, you'll really save your cost. Another so you want bare metal dense, or even you want file storage. So this performance based on different workloads, at what particular workload which data is capacity it gives you. So it's quite generic. But some if you're doing data analytics, or if you're doing relational DB transfer to a non-relational DB transfer, so Hadoop is deployment is that there, or even doing heavy content. So you choose your storage accordingly. That's what this slide depicts. So highest database performance and reliability, it depends on Oracle's DB, as well as soon as you change the virtual machine, or you're going for the bare metal, or the server installations, or deploying multiple Oracle DBs simultaneously or in a batch, or even you're using Oracle Exadata. So the performance and the availability and the storage capacity increases accordingly. So cost also increases exponentially. So I know if you're not using it, or if you're seeing these first times, it can become overwhelming. But as soon as you start doing experimentations, and when I would recommend, when you're in your fourth year, you try and do some projects on this. So I'll quickly show an application deployment where you'll see how this using Oracle Cloud, as well as Oracle Autonomous Databases, as well as Oracle Apex. You can deploy ready to build applications in matter of minutes. It's so fast. So yeah. So what's Autonomous DB? So it's a new version of databases where Another, I want to give a real time example. Yes, when I was there at working at Siebel, we were doing deployments for different customers, and another any new version used to come off the databases. People There was a separate team of people who used to deploy new patches and new versions of DBs, and they used to take the backups of the data. And this, it became quite a big headache for our team. And so a small activity resulted in, if the deployment didn't happen properly, then another patch was installed, the security had to be managed. So it was a big headache. So what the autonomous databases will do is, as soon as the new version comes, it will automatically analyze that the new version is here and it's good for the security, and the new patches are here. It will do an automatic installation, so you don't have to bother about that aspect. As well as machine learning is there. For example, uh, you're using your application. For example, you deployed uh, a movie, a software, or like Netflix, and it realizes that at Saturdays and Sundays people are watching more movies. So the bandwidth requirement at that particular days or that particular time from 7 to 9 p.m., for example, the resource availability is, the scaling should be there. So automatically, autonomous DB will add more servers and more compute capacity to that, and the availability will increase automatically. So you don't have to make those changes. So you understand. And as soon as the time has passed, and it will analyze that, okay, now the availability has gone down, automatically it will remove the servers. So in turn, it will reduce your cost automatically, so you don't have to bother and keep track every time. So that's why autonomous DBs is like new age stuff. So it's really cool. So this is one deployment which I have done. Give any generic name which you want, deploy any database version, and with this I'll show you there's something really cool. You can choose what's the predominant action which you want your autonomous DB to take care of. So here you'll see, uh, they give you option. You want to use it in normal, for loading and extraction of data, you take database action. But in this case, I wanted to deploy a new application itself, so I chose Oracle Application Express. And this is how you can start deploying a new application. So initially, so this is also free, guys. I'll explain a little bit about the URL first of all. So this is the generic uh, code which will be given assigned through your application, and then this is the region code specific, and this is cloud apps. This part can change. So for example, if you want your own company name, for example, you want it to be, let's say, hcl.com. So in that case, you can just take a domain name of hcl.com from here, and only from F and P it will be a different thing. And I explain this as well. So if you open, for example, this application which I have created, or maybe let's take a sample database application and run it. So you see, this is the region and code, and this is the company domain which I just mentioned. So this is the schema name which I kept, and 102 is the application ID. You see, application ID. So application ID can be renamed to anything if you want. For example, if you want to for your customers not to see 102, rather than you want to give a generic name such as a DBA database application, so you can put that as well. It does not matter. And after that, I have given a sample database application. That means this is the home application. So as soon as you change the pages right here in navigation window, you'll see that it changes every time. So you see, it depends on the customer. And for example, if you don't want them to see this names, and rather to go with a alphanumeric character, you can do that as well. So it's totally dependent on you. So I want to ask if there are any questions. Okay, I think it's kept for the end. Okay, all right. So now I'll show how you can quickly start creating applications on this. So as soon as at the end of your screen, bottom of your screen, you'll see edit button. Just click that, and it will take you to a drag and drop kind of. It's not a drag and drop kind of thing. You just require basic JavaScript skills as well as your basic SQL skills. So and it's using obviously database at the core, right? So all this is coming through backend DB. So for example, these are all regions. So this is called a header. This is the central region. This is center left. This is center right. So bottom left, bottom right, and this is another base. So if you come back here, so this is the regions which I showed you, the content body, the footer, so all these things. So if you want, and let's come back here. See, this is the region. Was the base application name, which is being shown here. And after that, you'll see a search. So this is the search feature. Similarly, for example, if you want to see search customers, orders, and product, if you come here, if you click here, and you see the value placeholder, search customers order. And if you want to just change here, search something, just give anything, run, come back here, see the change. So it's that quick. And for example, you want to change this or anything you want. This is a chart, right? Top orders by date. Dashboard, top orders by date. Here, if you come here, you see this is the select query being used to showcase this particular chart, graph, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, a bar chart. Okay, if you want to change it to something else, something more interesting, what I'll do is I'll create a different application. I'll show a little bit more graphs, or let's do that. Let's come to here. Open incident by customer. Let's click it. So right now it's a pie chart. What's the name? Open incident by customer. Open incident by customer. If you come and see the attributes, it's a pie chart. You don't want to see that. You want something new. The customer says, I don't like pie charts. I like donut charts, for example. Just click here. Oh, it's a donut. See, that's how quick and how fast. Just imagine doing this with any other technology. Just imagine how much of code you have to write just to see this in, maybe just you want a JavaScript. Just imagine how much of coding is required to change this particular chart. See, these are the particular options which Apex gives you by default. If you want to create anything else, you can create a new plugin, which is another, this basic SQLs, everything is in the backend, everything, these are all SQLs. So for example, here, basic select query is running, select internal IT, internal operations, internal QA, and these are all basic queries. And once you click here, it will take you to another report. I hope you're getting excited while seeing this how much I enjoyed working with this. I've worked on Oracle Apex for more than 5 years, and it was really fun stuff. We deployed more than 10 applications for our customers, so it was really interesting. And from scratch, this is another sample application which I'm showing you, already deployed, but yeah, we did major applications from scratch. So yeah, any question, guys? Okay, Kundan, I didn't realize the screen was not clear. Were you able to see my screen properly,
Yes,
guys?
yes. That was initially, sir. Now it's clear, no problem.
Oh, nice. Thank you. So another thing which I wanted to show was, so one second, is the comparison of Oracle Cloud versus, first of all, on-premise, and as well as with comparison to AWS, right? So I'm not working for Oracle. Frankly, I'm not pitching Oracle just because I had worked there, or I'm going to work there, something like that. I find that if I would have been in your place, and if somebody would have, with my experience, and somebody else would have been giving this KT, right? So I would have liked if somebody would have given me, um showed something which is free, right? So that's why I chose Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. And for example, if the same application, rapid application development using Apex, is obviously possible with AWS, but in that case you have to bring your Oracle, and not MySQL, right? So your Oracle account, along with that. So which is another, it's expensive stuff, right? Oracle Cloud's license is really expensive. So that's why I showed OCI rather than AWS. uh, which let me take you to the cost aspect. Where are you? Yep, you see here. So OCI offers industry-leading prices. First of all, validated by independent party analyst. OCI standard Intel-based VMs are up to 61% cheaper. So not just the free tier. When you're deploying applications, when you start working in big corporates, right, and you are into decision-making stuff. So, like for example, I had an option when the company started asking me that this customer has this particular requirement and this is their budget, so which technology is good for, because so which architecture should we recommend? So I always went for that. So these are the particular requirements, and with this particular requirement, I think the cost of OCI will be lesser in comparison to AWS. And especially with our rapid application development, and if they already have an Oracle account, because most of the companies do use Oracle, right, cloud. If not even cloud, they use Oracle DB. So AWS, sorry, Apex comes free when you have all the Oracle DB. So that's why, see, the block storage where your data in is stored is 99% cheaper, right? Just imagine how much cheaper this is. So that's why new customers, especially with the startups, right, more and more companies are flocking and going towards OCI rather than sticking with the AWS aspect. So it's really cost effective, and oh, it's really interesting. Okay, so any questions, guys, with specific to either AWS or cloud or autonomous DB, RAD, or anything? You can feel free to ask me any questions.
I think nobody has any questions. You can post any questions if you have in the chat box.
Okay, Rajan, I
I,
see your question. Oh yes, yes, you can start creating applications and for trial versions. Not just with that, uh, as I mentioned earlier, also just sign up for a free tier account. Always free. Go to the budget section. Uh, put your budget which suits you. If you don't want to pay anything, just put your budget zero, and in that case Oracle will never allocate any resource which is costly or is a paid version. And from there choose autonomous db and Oracle application express, which comes along with db anyways, and start deploying your applications. But you saw the generic url at the top, right? You don't want to give that to your customer, or you don't want to use a generic url. It does not look good, right? So in that case, get a domain name from any domain provider, and be it godaddy.com, or even these Oracle provides their own domain services. I think it's $5 per month or maybe per year, I don't know. So it's quite inexpensive. Take that, put that name in the top, that this the xyz.com, and from there you can deploy standard applications, right? It's like website. Even if you go to oracle.com, right, that entire website is based on Oracle Apex. It's deployed using Oracle Apex. So it's really interesting. If you go to their Oracle's career section, initially you'll see Telio, which is another paid version, but paid application. But as soon as you start creating account, and then you'll see it will redirect you to Oracle Apex. So Oracle uses Apex quite frequently. Okay, what is roving edge infrastructure behind Oracle Cloud? Is see infrastructure is quite with any cloud providers, be it AWS or be it uh, uh, Oracle or Google, or so they have their edge technology, right? So what they'll do is, for example, if you're not deployed on the regions, right, because it becomes really expensive. For example, I have a company and I deploy a server which is based in Mumbai, and my customers are coming maybe from London. So there is a big bit of a latency, right? The data has to transfer from Mumbai to London. So there is a small gap. So what these cloud providers, they understood this, that either I deploy a new region there, which is a costly affair for me. I don't want to do that. So they have started doing an edge technology. So they will cache a particular content which is being requested quite frequently from the that particular region. And so edge technology will, so all the new users who are coming there and trying to guess uh, gather this information, it will take you to that particular cached edge location, and from there they can capture this information. Okay, not just specific to your these three topics. If you want, if you have any other questions also, feel free to ask.
guys, anyone else? If you have any other questions, you can put it in the chat box, even if it is general questions, not
Yeah, of
related to the
course.
topic. I
Abhi,
think that's all, sir.
yeah, Abhi,
No more questions.
if I would have been there, no, they would have asked me 100 questions about how did you go there, how did you, what the process of visa, or all these type of questions would have come up. It's okay.
Okay, thank you for patiently answering all the questions, sir. All of
Yeah.
us are highly benefited by this. I now request Mr. Kameshwaran, sir, to give the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, Unadal. Myself, Kameshwaran, Assistant Professor, Department of IT. I deem it to be a great honor and to felicitate vote of thanks on this occasion. Let me first thank the Almighty God for making this event as a resounding success. The ninth, thank our today's speaker, alumni of our department, Mr. Ramanan Singh, Sales Engineer Manager, Turnkey Systems Private Limited, for the great session. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your knowledgeable and enlightening session, which would surely brought amazing transformation to our students. It's my pleasure to thank our enthusiastic, eminent President, Engineer A.C.S. Arun Kumar, sir, who has been a great continuous support system and always encourage us to take a step forward and stay ahead. And I also thank our Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Geeta Lakshmi, the Registrar, Dr. C.B. Palnivel, Joint Registrar, Dr. V. Cyril Raj, Dean ENT, Dr. S. Indil Velan, Additional Dean, Dr. Rajaman, sir, for their guidance and encouragement in all our efforts. And my special thanks to my enthusiastic head, Dr.N.Kanya, Dr. Dalia Sham, the program convener, Mr. C. Tamilchelvi, and my colleagues who work hard to become this event as a milestone. And my special thanks to our students who actively participated in this event. Once again, I thank you all. Thank you once again. Thank you, Nanda.
So
Suraj Kumar
one
has,
last question. Yeah, Suraj
yeah.
Kumar's question. Can you
So
just
yeah, it's Oracle Pro. I think any internship for cloud computing. So when I was there at Oracle, I used to see a lot of new interns coming up, and even right after the college, also a lot of freshers were being hired. So I think you can check it out on their website if they have some internship programs. Even I, at my current company, have hired few interns to work, and my parent company, which is based out of US, they also quite frequently hire interns, and a few interns, they stay back after the internship and they join as a normal applications engineer or a software engineer. So that is quite common. So look for a company, preferably based out of Chennai, because these companies pay a little bit less amount for interns. So frankly, look which city or a company which is closer to you, and then try and get an internship there. So I would recommend that. Another thing which I would recommend is try to look for a company which is a service based, because that these companies will give you the exposure and the deployments and the new applications you which I talked about. Even they have their own development programs for different customers, so you'll get good insight, and the exposure which you'll see is quite unique. And the big product based companies, they have their pretty stable products. So so initially get whatever opportunity you can get, right? But after that, if you have an option, try and go to a service based company, because that will increase your skills. Even if that, I have always worked in product based companies. So try and look for opportunities there if you get into a product based company, and try and learn new technologies and upskill yourself. So remember that upskilling is quite important. You have to continuously learn. I still continue to upskill myself and learn new technologies, and get certifications. So I think certifications are the key. So that's really, really important. So if there are five people in the interview panel and one person has that particular XYZ certification and four of them don't have, just imagine if I would have been in the interview, right? I would have hired a person who has that particular certification, because that proves that that guy is that he really knows that technology really well. So get yourself certified. So I've seen
Okay.
that there are hundreds freshers, and when I started looking for new opportunities, the any small thing, right? Any small differentiating factor will go to your benefit. So look like that. Okay. So either learn new language or not programming language, really learn a new a language, be it French, German, or Mandarin, or any other language which can be a differentiating factor, because these companies have potential customers all over the place. So that's another skill. So another thing is which becomes quite people ignore is, once you're out of the college and you have the technical skills, and everybody starts looking for either a new job, or they start going for a master's degree or something like that. So until unless you're quite sure you want to go in particular direction, so try and see alternate mediums. Like I um, after my application experience, right, software development experience, I started looking for new opportunities in the same field but a different structure, because I started my career as a software developer, right? But then I moved to sales. So I don't have an MBA degree, but I am into sales. So software sales, right? So my technical expertise helps me uh, in the company software sales, because I can pitch the customers, right, who is buying your software. They are CTOs, technical officers, or like their heads, leads. So they are quite techie guys. So you have to talk uh, in technical terms. So your technical expertise will definitely be quite vital. But your communication is quite important, how you communicate, and with business heads. Frankly, as soon as you bypass the technical guys, you will be required to meet the business owners and CEOs, CFOs. You have to talk to them, right? So improve your communication skills. Take IELTS exam or PT exam. So try and upskill your language skills. That is also quite important. And talk to everybody. Talk to your teachers. They are quite one of the best teachers, frankly. So that is another factor which will improve. So all these things, right, which you'll see in the college. So that's why this is quite important when you go outside the college. So just take advantage of that. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable information. As we wind up the session, we thank everyone on behalf of Department of IT. As we come to the end of the session, I thank everyone for your cooperation and support. Feedback links has been posted. It will be active for only 20 minutes. Please fill it before you leave and you'll get your e-certificate soon. Recording of the session will be available in this YouTube link. Once again, on behalf of entire organizing team, I thank everyone.